Alrighty, welcome everybody to KephessCast episode 7. I'm Hayward, and this is the rest of the TORCommunity team. We got Miner, Xam today, May, Snave, and Xam. So, say hi, guys.
Hola!
Hello!
Xam seems to be taking a short hiatus.
Xam seems to have been DC'd. We're trying to do a big 6 group. We've never actually done it with this many people, so we'll see how this goes. If the stream quality is crap, then I guess you can just check out the recorded version later. We'll have that up for you later. So it's been a while. We've got a bunch to talk about today. I'll let Snave or Miner go ahead and start us off.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn now.
Let me get the notes up since Xam decided to take the worst opportunity for the internet in Australia to crash.
Take a seat, son. Let's let the semi-pro do this for you. So this week we'll be talking about a few different things. We're talking about 4.0 mainly and all the things that come with 4.0, as in story, choices, meaningful choices, and story, and more choices, and more story, and choices. So we'll be going through the SWTOR news, the discussion of the NYCC Community Cantina, the cosplay tournament, the achievements you're going to lose, the TORCommunity episode, which kind of slandered Miner slightly, some other topics. You're going to have some rumors, some news, and then apparently we're going to have an outro as well. So we got a veritable SWTOR feast of discussion going on tonight. We're going to cover pretty much everything you could possibly know about 4.0 coming up, and some other stuff that you probably don't know about. So looking at the stream right now, I don't even know if it's live actually.
I think we just saw Xam and it just screwed up all of our overlays.
Yeah, Xam even will mess up the overlays, but we can get back to that, so it's not going to be a huge deal.
There we go. All those Aussies, they just...
We're going to be also showing some new armor sets, I believe.
Yeah, they should be cycling through the stream. Yeah,
okay.
the new...
So next to the chat, kind of like down in that direction, you'll see some cycling of armors, and this is the new armor that's going to be coming out in 4.0. So some of it is PvE, some of it is PvP, and this is what we're going to be having when we level up and get that fat loot. Oh, and Xam is Xam back?
Xam is back.
Yes,
Welcome back, Xam.
Oh, thank you.
We missed you terribly, Xam.
Miner tried to take over.
Everything went to hell as soon as you left.
Yeah.
We had to cut him off. It was bad.
I'm guesting, and I was thrown the hosting responsibilities.
Thrown under the bus.
Classic
I take no
Hayward.
responsibility.
God damn it, Hayward.
Blame Hayward, hashtag.
Don't ever throw
Start
it to
trending.
Miner.
You start 40 minutes late,
Question.
you throw Miner under the bus, Xam disconnects. Fucking Hayward. Can you even wipe your own arse? Jesus Christ.
No comment.
Well, actually, those sheets are pretty white, so I guess you can.
Anywho, so you guys can, I'm sure, of course, find us on TORCommunity.com. We'll hopefully have this on iTunes soon. And be sure to like us on Facebook. We have been trying to get our Facebook page more active lately, so could definitely use the help from the community to ask questions through that.
Facebook.
So let's start this off, guys. Let's start with the launcher.
Do you mind if we start us off with doing like what you've been doing this week? Because I really missed doing that on TORCommunity.
Okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Xam,
what are you guys been up to?
What have you been doing this week? Oh my god, your dog is so delightful. What have you been doing this week, Xam?
He's sleepy.
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh.
Totes adorbs.
So, Xam, what have you been doing this week? What have you been up to?
Well, obviously, a new puppy, which is a lot of time, but I've been actually updating all the cartel stuff, trying to make it match up. Because with all the new changes, the cartel and everything, I want to try to get everything organized, because they're putting everything in generic packs now and changing that around. So I really can't do a whole lot to release, because obviously mostly I do is pictures, so until I can actually get in there and do the stuff, I can't really put a lot up. But I did put some adaptive armor sets up, some legacy armor sets, and of course the pictures that are scrolling. I've got those up and everything too, but mainly going through the old stuff and updating it and make sure everything's caught up before the 4.0 hits.
That sounds like a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Because the funny thing is, you're one of the people who
Boring.
actually contributes to the TORCommunity, unlike me. So it's yeah. We all appreciate the effort you put in. Hayward, what have you been doing this week?
Oh, so many things. So we've been working on multilingual support with Miner for the website. We've got a bunch of people translating crap, and it should be ready real soon. So you'll start seeing the site in Spanish, Italian.
Not Spanish.
Well, some of the site in it, but
No.
the databases will be German and French.
Yes.
And English, of course.
Well, just so you know,
the rest of the stuff will be in the other languages.
As an FYI, I am quite big in Germany these days. I'm reaching Hasselhoff levels of popularity in Germany, so if you need any help, I'm sure we can sort you out. And Mina, what have you been doing this week, Mina?
I have been doing a lot of coding. And I hate character coding. Because I develop on one system that has one character encoding, and then the server runs on another system that has a different character encoding, and trying to make it all work is just real pain.
First world Mina problems.
It's all about the UTF-8.
Yes, and so, yeah, my development environment's supposed to support it, but it doesn't output it to that. And I have to do a lot of extra validation on the server to get it to display properly.
And Zam, what have we been doing this week?
Not really much SWTOR-wise. I've kind of, I don't know, lost the writing bugs. I haven't been blogging that much lately, but I am moving overseas next week, so...
What, full-time for Absies?
No, just for a couple of months, just to see how things go with my boyfriend, and from there...
Didn't you meet him in SWTOR, though?
Yeah, we met through SWTOR, yes, and now I'm going to live with him for a couple of months.
That's so romantic.
That is
Your lightsabers clashed. You spammed trace missile into his face, and he said, I want to entrench with you forever.
Aww.
Just don't forget the ballistic dampers.
Let me show you my lightsaber.
Yeah. And also, welcome back to May. May has been out of the Star Wars community for quite a long time now, and she's back just for this episode. She isn't coming back to the game, but it's always lovely to have her. How are you, May? What have you been doing this week?
I'm pretty good. I've been on like a Star Wars Battlefront binge, so I've just been yelling at my computer and crying and being really upset because I get shot all the time. No, I was in tears the other night because I was like, why am I so bad at this? So yeah, lots of Star Wars Battlefront. Shooting people as a stormtrooper,
I should have started this with, speaking of Battlefronts, and now we have May. God, that's a missed pun right there.
Next time.
All right. So, Hayward, take us away with the next interaction, my friend.
Alrighty. I was going to also do a quick plug. Potato and I also got the new version of the ranked PvP stats up and live. So if you go to the homepage of TORCommunity, you'll see the new seasons 1 through 6 ranked PvP arena stats, and if you're a PvPer, you might cry if you look at it.
Yeah,
so
caveat, don't go there if you don't want to get depressed.
Yeah, if you don't want to see a downward trend, pretty much a steady decline.
It's quite interesting though. I mean, is that worth talking about, or are we not doing that?
Maybe I'd say better than cross-server. That'd be
okay, I'll do that myself. Yeah, cool.
But anyway.
Is it really bad though? Is it a significant drop or?
Yes.
It's a steady drop every season.
I looked at it, and the total player count dropped, but the number of games played has remained fairly consistent.
Seasons 5 and 6 are about the same, I'd say. So, at least solo ranked, group rank's down.
Players are playing more, but there's less of them.
I think the most worrying stat I saw this week was the number and class distribution, where you have 60% of the top are two specs, or two classes rather. It's all Sorks and Power Techs, which really isn't a shocker, but it's slightly depressing. Mm. But yeah, that's about the crossover, which we'll do in next week.
We'll talk about
it'll be amazing, and I'll record it this time.
Anywho, so moving on, the first big thing I want to talk about is the launcher. There's been a brand new launcher since launch, I guess. And I don't know, I like it. There's a few issues, little gripes I have, like the play button doesn't give you that noise. You used to play that sound whenever it was ready to go.
Yeah.
Kind of missed that. It's the coloration. Whoever did their CSS or UI design kind of made it indistinguishable between when it's ready and not ready. So I don't know. It's a fresh paint, I guess. What do you guys think for the?
It's the same old launcher. The launcher's always
repackaged in the.
Yeah, it's just extra. They changed the launcher's always sort of been HTML. And so they just changed the page, pretty much.
That's
I have a hard time telling when authorized now. When I hit my security key, I'm like looking at this teeny tiny print down in the corner trying to figure out when I can actually hit play.
Myra, do you want to mention a little bit about Potato's pre-downloader? Do you think this would be a good time to...
Okay, so if you've been around the SWTOR scene for a while, you know that when they have a big patch, the servers go down with the patches are available on the server. The problem is they take the login servers down at the same time, so you can't log in to start patching ahead of time. Potato's got a nifty little downloader that he's going to be releasing that will pre-download the new patch data onto your computer before the servers come back up.
Oh, so you can pre-patch before it's available.
Pretty much, yeah. You can think of it as a
working
pre-patch.
amazing.
It's going to download the patches. It's not going to touch your files, your game files.
There's no modification whatsoever. It's just,
no.
I mean, they're public facing. Like they just,
Yes.
it's a CDN. He just downloads them ahead of time. The launcher then checks to make sure they're actually, the integrity's there. Nothing's been screwed with or modified, and then your game should be, instant ready to play. So
That's pretty good.
Because
it
last
should be
time,
pretty cool when he comes out.
what, they were up a whole 24 hours in advance?
Yeah.
So with 3.0, so people with the slow internet, you'll be able to patch earlier and get in. They're assuming they haven't integrated this feature into the new launcher. I don't think they have.
Will it mess up if you have bitrate, or is that like something that if people haven't taken that off yet, they need to do? Like, is there going to be a conflict with that, or?
Bitrate.
Okay,
It's not going to work at all.
And my understanding is bitrate is going to be going away sometime.
Yeah, and also as an aside, if you haven't got rid of Bitrater by now, get rid of Bitrater.
Yeah, it's nothing but problems for them.
Yeah. So that's the launcher. I guess if no one else has any other comments on that, let's go ahead and move right along here. So the next thing I want to talk about is the companion affection achievement removal. If you guys haven't heard yet, just because of the way that they're redoing the affection system, they're changing it into influence. They're going to get rid of all those reach max affection achievements. So they're going to be replaced with these new like loyalty to the name of the class, and those are going to be from kills. So if you haven't yet, I don't know what they're. Are they just going to put those in an archive? Or are they just going to delete them entirely, or do you know?
They've changed. Some of the existing affection ones got changed to kill achievements. I know, like the meta one got changed. Some of them are straight transfers, and some of them are new ones. So it's a grab bag. What's going to happen?
That sounds good. Speaking of achievements, if you haven't yet, you've got about 8 days to go finish the McKeb making the connection achievement, or whatever it's called on IMSide. And if you do that, you'll get the McKeb gazebo, and it looks pretty cool. Potato posted a nice screenshot of it on the update preview threads, so definitely recommend you go grind those McKeb weekly, stage weeklies before.
And grind any kill achievements, man, because it's going to be a pain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can elaborate on that.
The Bormu.
Getting downscaled, I guess, is the big thing. 4.0.
Level sucking.
Is this a good time to talk about that, the level sync? Because I think this is something which is grossly misunderstood by the community at large.
Definitely. Let's go ahead and spend some time on this, because that's something that is a hot button topic.
So let me explain to you right now how I view level syncing, I guess, the downscaling, and then you can all correct me when I'm inevitably wrong. Mm-hmm. So for me, the way that I think it works is whenever you go to a planet, you will be scaled to the level or the max level of that planet. So for example, if Drummondcast is 12 to 16, you'll be level 16 effectively in stats plus gear on top. You will still have all of your abilities.
I think it's like two above, right?
Yeah, it was originally the top level of the planet, but they increased it by 2 levels beyond that.
So yeah.
Okay, so if the top level is
Drummondcast.
16, you'll be 18. Okay, brilliant.
Yep. Yeah.
You still have all of the same abilities, you still have all of the same moves, and effectively, even though it's going to be harder, it's still very doable.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay,
What
and the
about
main
your
reason...
gear? Does your gear get synced also?
What it does is the way I assume Bolster works, and this is probably very similar to the system, it finds the level that your gear's at for your current level, and then it finds the level that it's going to change you to, and then it proportionally scales you down to that level. So if you have the best gear for your level, you're going to have the best gear at the scaled level. If you have mediocre gear at the scaled level, you're going to have mediocre gear at the
I'm guessing I'll probably do like a green, blue, purple, or something like that.
Well, it's a lot more complicated than that, but that is essentially what's going to happen.
So the reason they're doing this is because you have a new series of heroic quests to do, and rather than creating new ones, you go back and do the old ones.
Well, there's a couple of different things going on with this. The stated strategy with level sync is so that you can now, instead of just leveling in your main class story path, you'll be able to go anywhere in the galaxy and level on any planet you want, in any order you want. And then there's also, you're going to be going back to planets to do heroics, world boss kills, and stuff, and they wanted you to be at level for that. They didn't want one person soloing world bosses, because those are going to be necessary.
The thing that Musco showed on his stream was I think he went back to Drummondcast.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. Okay, and he went back and he did a quest there, but it was like a daily thing or a weekly thing that you could do to do all these different planetary quests. I don't know whether that's worked into a rep grind or a reward grind, but it just seems to be a very clever way, or not say very clever, but a very effective way of making all the old content they already have in the game relevant to you at the end game.
Yes, it turns all group content into end game content.
Okay.
I kind of like it. I mean, honestly, I think that's going to give... Like, there's no reason for me right now to go back and kill any of those old world bosses. It doesn't get me anything. So if they're making incentives to kind of go back and do recycled stuff...
And they replaced all the gear from the quest, too. Like, the stuff that you got before, it's going to be completely different now. What you get from a quest is going to be scaled to your level. You're going to get a box from most of the heroics that has 2 pieces of gear in it for your level, and I think they're going to be randomized.
That's pretty cool, though, because, I mean, how many planets are there in the game? There's quite a lot, don't there?
Yeah, there's a ton.
Like 20-something.
More like 15. 10 to 15.
We'll say 10, because that's easier. I mean, the thing I like about this is, like, back when I used to play WoW, you do the rep grinds, or we'll call it rep grind, I guess is essentially the same thing. Where you'd go to the same place every day, do the same thing, kill the same mobs, and get the same rewards. Whereas now you can go anywhere and do those heroics, and you can mix it up yourself. And there's a pretty big variety of quests you can do there. So if you want to do them all on the same day, that's fine, but it's still a lot to do.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't just have to do heroics. Like, there's also world boss kills. There's PvP for... You're going to need to gain influence with companions, and the way you do that is varied by companions. Some of them you craft, some of them you PvP, some of them you do world boss kills.
I like that
system.
system.
Yeah, my guild's been doing the world boss kills now to try to get all those in and everything for those who don't have them.
Yeah, so like before you had 10,000 affection for your companion, now you're going to have a 250,000 cap for affection.
What about operations?
You will be able to run Nightmare mode of any of the operations except EV and KP anytime that you want, 1 lockout per week. But you'll only be able to run 1 highlighted hard mode per week to get the best gear. So that means is that it's going to rotate on a weekly basis.
Does Nightmare drop the same as the highlighted hard mode?
Highlighted hard mode and...
So we can only run 1 hard mode per week?
1 hard mode per week.
That sucks. What the hell are we going to do the rest of the time?
Nothing. You can go to the planets and do things that you've already done, Cam. That's what you can do.
Interesting.
Don't forget Golden Fury Monolith, too.
I don't know, actually. I might be wrong about this. Potato did a lot more digging. There might be a gear set that drops from the hard modes, but the highlighted hard mode is equivalent to Nightmare mode as far as gear drops.
Right.
So basically, mate, if you go in there with your gear and I go in there with my gear, you'll do better than me.
Yes.
Right.
Plus, the point is we've already done it, so we know all the mechanics. So we're going to, like, ruffle stomp with the story mode big time.
And our gear is already higher than the gear of what they assume people are going to be.
We don't know the ruffle stomping side because no one's played it yet. That's the argument here. I mean, everyone's making these presumptions.
Miner gave me a loot list already, so someone already cleared it all on PTS.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My understanding is that somebody's cleared...
Someone cleared everything on PTS anyway last time around. It's not.
We usually run through the story mode anyway, and that's not knowing the mechanics. We know the mechanics
different
already.
Guild than all the guilds that are... Yeah, exactly.
Well, who's on the PTS?
The mechanics are different. I can guess who's on the PTS, and it's like people that had to cheat for Cortani and got repped after the second nerf. Like, congrats! You had to spend 3 months doing content?
The point is, we don't know. That's the point. I'm all aboard the... Oh, pardon me. Sorry, this is a non-swearing podcast, isn't it? I keep on forgetting. I'm so sorry. I'm all aboard the whole this is bad train, but we don't know until it actually occurs, and we have no evidence to show us that this is the situation. The point I think that we all are missing here is the reason they're doing this is effectively SWTOR 2.0. I don't mean, in the sense of like expansion 2.0. This is like a real launch of the game almost. They're expecting a huge influx of players based on different things.
That sounds familiar, Snave. Didn't someone else say that in the last week?
We'll get to that in a second.
I'm thinking Nightmare will still be challenging. I'm just saying story mode, we're just going to blow through it like the first 2 weeks.
I think this is
take you more than one night to get
Take a step back, guys. I think this is the most logical approach for the way BioWare can deal with this. Like, there's no other way for them to make all this content still relevant. If they're if they just up the level cap again, balance goes out the window right away. All the ops, to me it just seems like the most logical thing they could possibly have done. So
now,
I can't blame them for that.
The counterpoint that I will offer is that it kind of ruins it for people that like to solo old content, and I guess you're out of luck.
Yeah, that's the thing. What I was going to ask earlier. If off the top of your guys' head, is there any content that you would recommend our viewers right now go do in the next 8 days before 4.0 hits?
World bosses.
Dreadtooth.
Just the McKeb.
Dreadtooth, any of the world bosses.
Kill achievements.
Maybe hateful and dreadful.
Any of those like nightmare things?
Oh, if you want wings, get Wings of the Architect.
You get wings now, like right away.
We've been doing timed runs.
Yep.
I actually have an inside tip on the content you need to do this week. This is from someone on the PTS. They told me there's one bit of content you have to do before 4.0 goes live, and that's GSF. Lol joke. Sorry, no one wants to do GSF.
I'm crying. I'm crying on the inside. I tell you guys, I got a 45 kill game the other night. I was like,
oh really?
I was like, holy.
Tell me all about it.
The quality of players.
No one cares.
What were you sitting back in your gunship? With
yes, I was in my gunship.
Sniping people
with a team of all
with
2 ships.
You pay to win.
Wings will be available on Nightmare mode. The issue is that most people who buy Wings runs now, guilds are doing when we do Wings runs for peoples, we do a 16 man, and we just have the 2 or 3 people that are buying it just slash stuck at the beginning of the fight, because you'll wipe us easier. We can just carry the lack of DPS for the most part. Because it's really hard to do a Wings run on 8, and getting 16 people together to do something has always been really, really hard in this game. So
somebody in chat just mentioned, are things like Wings and those exclusive mounts that were a Nightmare, are they going to be available for highlighted hard modes too? Didn't they mention
I'm assuming they're going to keep it in the Nightmare modes.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to look. It's possible if they're doing the highlighted hard mode that it might just be... You might get it.
Cool.
And isn't there another thing, Minor, too, that you had told me and I had been all upset about, is the consumable for operations that they're putting in?
Yeah, there's some kind of crystal consumable. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to do.
Crystal of Nightmare Fury, right?
It looked to increase your damage, healing, and stuff by 25%, but it required a lot of commander kills, so if you've got some extra pieces of the commander, what are they called, encryptions?
Yeah, the logistical, whatever.
Yeah, the blue ones.
So you can buy them with guild things.
Stock up on those, guys. You're going to want a bunch of those.
Can I also just point out for a
going to
second
work
as well?
with level syncing.
Is that kind of like, I guess,
scouts to level
kind of like Nightmare Pilgrim?
Oh yeah, Nightmare Pilgrim is going to be interesting because last I looked, I sent this bug to them. In order to craft the thing, it still requires the mat, the perfect Yupari crystal, but they obsoleted the purple Yupari, perfect Yupari crystal. So now it's gray and it's going to get auto sold, but you still need it to craft, and it's going to be labeled.
I thought I read they updated.
I thought they got rid of it.
Instead of obsoleting, didn't they mention something like where they're going to be converted to the other appropriate grade 6? Like if you have a grade 6 that's getting obsoleted, it's going to become the version that's not going to be obsolete. At least that's what they said.
All right, well, that's
I don't know
Yeah,
if they've done that yet.
but are they going to change the schematic, or is it still going to need this
The
thing that's
schematic
unavailable?
looks like it's going to require it. So, like, Nightmare Pilgrim, if they've updated his loot table, is going to be in-game content then, and you're going to need to do this.
Let's
see.
go ahead and start
Like
talking
100
about
or
those
something.
those crafting changes now that we're on the subject.
Before you start
of
that,
this.
I want to point something out, right? I did a wings run, and I did a slash stack. And not only did I not slash stack, I also did really well. So shut up, man.
Yeah,
Shut up,
but you're
man.
like,
PvPers can PvE sometime.
you're competent. I'm talking about the people that like
I'm
wanted
going to
wait.
record that and play it back in the
That,
No.
pay- that
You're
pay-
competent.
You're competent.
Yeah,
Competent.
it's not the person who all they do. No offense, the casual who only does conquest and like GTN stuff, and they have like millions of credits, but like they could never get through. Like they can't even get through Nightmare EC, and it's level 50, and like
Oh, mate,
so
just look at
those
the camera and
people
say,
have to-
Snave, you're competent, I'll be done.
Snave your
The salt must flow.
I'm out, spent.
Alrighty.
Brontis goes
So-
pacing across the room to them.
So before we go on to these crafting changes, one more thing I want to mention real quick is the Conquest. Speaking of the Conquest, it's going to get turned off right at launch for about a
Yes,
month,
it
apparently.
is. Yeah.
I think they've been having issues with giving out Conquest rewards or something, so they said they're just going to turn it off for a few weeks,
Yeah,
probably the first
that's
month
it.
of launch, so
They updated the areas and they forgot to update Conquest.
that would do it. So no Conquest for a little bit. You get a little respite. Hopefully when they turn it back on, they add Revenge of the Revenites, because that's not been around for...
Yeah, they haven't. They
forever.
had another one too that they never put up.
I want to conquer Rishi already, gosh. Anyway. So, moving on. Crafting changes. Oh, yeah.
free level 500 when you make a level 60.
Well, that's not bad, though. I mean, like, the level 60 thing has to have incentives and it has to have certain clutches involved with it. Does anyone really care about that? Is that pay to win? Is
Like
that a
free-
problem?
Yeah, because I think they're kind of insinuating that they might be adding it to the cartel shop. So you're getting a free level
Oh, they are.
500 or whatever it is each time you do it. So
Yeah,
you don't
you
have to level
can't pick.
crafting anymore.
I don't see that as a problem.
Did you guys see the people on... There was someone on Jedi Covenant who bought, like, every single Mark 9 kit before they announced that Mark 9s were going to be... and 10s were going to be coming, like, the top tier. And he made...
Isn't that like insider trading?
Pretty
And then, like,
much
that person was on the PTS and like insider traded.
Yeah,
the
I
maps
remember
and
looking on there, I
online.
was like-
That's kind of
I was
bullshit.
like, somebody just...
So basically what you're saying is buy Mark 9 components now, yeah?
Well, they're really expensive now.
Well,
Because
it's
people
too
are aware
late.
now. The blog post I just linked to has a full list of all
Oh my
the
god,
changes.
Hayward, I thought you meant to be cool, man. Don't give these things away before you tell me. What the-
Or
make
you
some
should
money
only
there.
give it to people who have paid for the TORCommunity Kickstarter.
That's so ridiculous. All of our info will always be free. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise.
If you want to send Miner a check for $350, he'll gladly accept it.
he'll show you pictures of his cat for... He'll show you...
Yes.
insert word.
Basically what you're saying is mind the pussy picture.
Yeah, he'll send you... Yeah, there you go.
That's sure serious.
So that's that. I linked the whole post. It's quite lengthy, all the changes, but I do like what they did with the gathering nodes. I thought that was a very cool touch, where you'll now be able to harvest a node at any level, and you'll just get more of the yield if you're a higher level. So that's pretty cool. I was always annoyed with seeing those nodes I couldn't harvest on my alts, but as I'm leveling.
So on the subject of boosted things here, because this is something that I'm not passionate about, but it does irk me a little bit. Because people always associate any kind of boosting with pay to win. And I just want to clarify that boosting to level 60 does not give you pay to win. In any
No,
way,
it
shape,
doesn't.
or form.
I just said that I didn't think they should get the auto crafting.
The crafting thing is more of a convenience than a game-breaking mechanic.
Yeah, let's be real. There's nothing you can craft that I've seen that's top tier.
Well,
like
the main
top
problem
best
would
of the
be
best.
if you wanted to craft. So let's say I auto level a 60. If I want to get the crafting 500, I have to go and either go back to all the plans I would have normally gone through and get all those mats, or buy them. One of those two things.
Yeah,
So
what's
I'm
Dave
buying
here?
them.
Well, and plus, don't forget the 2 new mats. You're going to have to go back and do not only operations, but also, like, I think there's some conquest mats you can do.
There's a
too.
lot of work
Yes.
involved, like a tremendous amount of effort.
Well, like, going into 4.0, a lot of people that are just sitting on all this stuff, they're still going to have to do a lot of work. They can't just immediately start crafting all
Yeah.
this stuff. They're going to have to...
Yeah,
I
exactly.
really don't think it's that big of a deal, and I don't mean that in any kind of offensive way. I just think that having someone get that level, I'm not a huge crafter, and I think that the majority of people aren't generally big crafters. And while some people surely will use it to get the free crafting levels, to get the extra things they want to get, I don't think it's enough to be game breaking to those people who are super into it, because you would have to be super into it in the first place. And also, please bear in mind, we're on the back of 12 times XP. So all the guys who are super into that kind of stuff will probably have those anyway. And also, Chem, your dog is so distracting because what's
so cute.
so adorable. Look at him, his little floppy ears. He's like a little brown Yoda.
So cute.
He's Broda. Okay,
I mean, I guess
Pooped in your shoes, he has.
I guess like the good thing that I saw in crafting is like they really are trying to make it so that all crafting classes are viable, and they really want everybody to have like one of each crafter.
And also,
Yeah.
can we please all understand that right now, SWTOR is an ultra-casual MMO.
As of right now, yeah.
That's the prefix of it all.
It'll never break from that again. They've already lost any sort of like competitive scene that they could have had, and all those people play different games now.
I was going to say something. I completely forgot. You just derailed my train of thought.
For people asking about the level 60 character cost, the number that they have currently in the PTS files, the discounted cost is 600 credits, is usually half of what it was. So they started out with an initial price point of 1,200 cartel coins for level 60. Probably going to go up from there, though.
Okay.
Well, isn't like Yavin more than 1,200
Yes.
cartel coins? I have to assume that it's like
Yes,
it's going
but
to
you
be
can-
whatever $40 to $60 worth of cartel coins is.
But you can get up to like 40 characters on your account now, so they probably expect people to buy many of them.
There you go.
Sorry, how much is the max is the level?
For what? 60?
Yeah.
It was like, you get like 40
Well,
accounts
Mark-
or what?
Oh, you get like 40 character max now per server.
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah, they're increasing
But you
that,
can't
yeah.
rate them, okay? You have to boost into that many characters.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. So the boost gives you an extra slot. Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I misread. I misheard that. Sorry.
Are they going to do more strongholds? Did they add anything about that? Are you going to be able to have more strongholds than you can have now?
That was said at the
That was at the cantina. They
yes,
addressed
they
that.
stated that it was a technical issue, and they may have solved the technical issue.
May
that
have
was,
solved.
yes, they were confident.
So wait until it's solved so you don't like take it and then lose your stronghold somehow.
Our server, Bacchus, was very confident that they had solved the problem.
So to kind of move this on in a sideways direction, I want to ask you guys your opinion. How much do you think a level 60 boost should cost in cartel coins?
One cartel coin card,
Which is
24.
how much?
24.
2,400, isn't it?
How much is
Yeah.
that? It's like
It's like $1 coins, so 24
Like
bucks.
20,
2,400 coins is how much in dollars?
$20.
$20. Okay, so
For a-
WoW
I'd
is
say just-
what, like £40, I think.
£60.
$60, yeah.
$60. Okay, that's about 40.
Are they giving you one just for buying the expansion?
Yeah, you get
Yes.
one with the expansion.
You get
so-
one free, yes.
That's,
Do you think
that's what I would do. yeah,
I thought 1,800 originally. Then someone told me the conversion price. So
it should be like as if you every time you buy like the game, I guess, or buy an expansion, that's like you get another character or something. I don't know. That's like pre-level 60.
so we're all happy with 2,400,
Well, is that $20 or $40?
$20.
$20.
$20.
think
Yeah.
that's
I think it's.
I mean,
I
I'm
think
pretty.
they're going to
I'm
start
indifferent.
half that price though.
Think about
I
how
think
easy
that's
it
way
is
too
to
cheap.
level a character with 12 times XP. It's
Yeah,
not
but it's
like
not
WoW.
12
where,
times
like,
XP now anymore. Is it? It's gone now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, but because everybody has so many characters, it's like it's not a big thing for people to have more characters. They don't. It's
time is
$20.
money.
It's really the
But
problem
it is
with
a
them.
big deal, though, mate, because the emphasis in this game is story, and if you just instantly level, then you skip all that story.
They don't care. You can go back and do it at any time because you're getting levels synced down.
They clearly they clearly care about the story because the new expansion is about story. But
they only care about money.
Oh my God, May, you're so cynical.
So
I mean, it's not.
I think they're doing the best they can with what they've got.
Well, like Jedi mind tricks. No, only money.
I'm sure they'll keep it at 2,400, but they'll be putting it on sale and stuff too. I guarantee you.
I mean, no one's ever
for
said
sure.
that EA only cares about money before. So, I mean, I'm like the first person to ever put that statement out there.
It's a topic for another day. Anyway, so I guess let's keep moving on. We got the New York Community Cantina. There's a cosplay contest. There's some cool photos on the Facebook group. Go ahead and link those in chat here.
Didn't we suggest that at some time, Sam? Wasn't that like one of the things that we were like, you know what they should do at Cantinas?
And they finally have.
Surprised. And they streamed it, which was nice.
Yeah, they had some nice outfits.
There was some nice.
Yeah, it was.
Who ended up winning? Did they
Not
give a winner
exactly the
yet?
best stream.
Arkin won.
One.
The thing I found
Which it was a
interesting
good
about
outfit.
Arkin, he had a very, very good outfit, but Arkin was like, "Hi, my name is Jim. My mother's like an art director for a film company. And I
Oh,
got a
that
film
sounds fair.
school, and everyone I work with does cosplay.
My
So I
cosplay
just
is
said
better than
to my
yours.
friends, "Can you cosplay for me?" And they were like, "Yeah, we'll cosplay for you." Cheers, guys. But yeah, no, shout out to Arkin. His facial scar was amazing.
Oh,
what-
that was.
Everything was very, very well done. I watched the Garrick Teed podcast, kind of. It was like really laggy on Twitch, so I watched the replay, kind of, because that was really laggy too. And they were he was saying there was something like 70 people, I think, who signed up.
30 people.
30 was it? Okay.
Yes.
And only seven
Seven.
actually turned up.
Would you see the two that came late? They were really, really
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
So, see, that's
Were
the
they
kind of
actually there
stuff.
for it? All right, okay.
Yeah, what about the guy who dressed up like Musco? Why didn't they let him in the cosplay contest?
I think they wanted
Because
people
Musco
from-
is not canon.
See, that's the kind of stuff I like to see on their Facebook group. Like, I'd much rather see pics of
Why wasn't
cosplay
there
or-
a minor cosplayer, okay?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Or
get over
a
yourself.
potato.
It was Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
someone just shows up in a
That
potato
would've been
costume with
hilarious.
a miner hat on. Oh, man.
By the way, I've heard rumors you're the same person too.
Yeah, but we're on the street as a...
Potato's my alternate personality.
We just like to make up multiple.
Depending on whether he's
people.
eating
It's
French
just
fries
the
or
best
not at the
people,
time.
Right.
But I was quite surprised that there was only 7 people who turned up. But they were all very good outfits, though. I mean, I liked them all. I was watching. I tried watching it live at the time, but it wouldn't come through. It kept on lagging really badly. So I watched it a little bit later, and then like pre-downloaded it and watched it. And the thing that got to me was like Twitch chat was absolutely horrendously harsh. Because you can imagine
they were
like
mean.
people playing dress up on Twitch chat is that's the recipe for like pure AIDS.
Yeah, unless it's a porn star, it's not okay, basically.
Well, the worst one, actually, I won't tell you the worst one because that kind of defeats the point. But there were some suggestions that Lady Insanity was actually in cosplay and, all that kind of stuff. And I just want to give a shout out that I actually admire the people who turn up and dress up for these things because they must know in advance. They're opening themselves up to all kinds of ridicule and they still do it. Because they have that much.
I mean, yeah, unless you're freaking Channing Tatum or something like.
No, but
you know,
that,
you're,
it
you're
also
gonna get
tells
made
you-
fun of, no matter how.
Shout out to those
Yes.
people because it takes some serious balls to get up in front of a crowd of people in an outfit and to explain why you do it and to have all those random people on the internet tell you how how unattractive or whatever whatever they want to pick out you are. So yeah, shout out to those guys. I'll give you a little.
Not-
Yeah.
little snip.
Mad respect, yeah.
For sure.
Not to
best
diminish
comment
that
was-
Snave.
The best comment was someone said, "Oh, you think there can't be heavy Sith? Have you talked to Darth Barris about that?"
Yeah, I saw a lot of Darth Barris comments. Like a lot of them, like 99% of the comments were Darth Barris related.
Well,
But,
I was just gonna say that like it's just after New York Comic Con, so like the whole area is blanketed in people dressed up. So it's a great confidence booster throughout the day.
Yeah.
That you're dressed up. So
I saw some guys saying like Darth Barris' shoulders are made of cardboard. His shoulders were made of cardboard in the game. What's wrong with these people? Like, oh, Jesus Christ! What is he going to make him out of? What's wrong with him? Like, he's playing dress up. Like, calm the
Yeah,
fuck
I've got like
down.
a giant 3D printer in my basement.
Yeah.
Just like print off
Got like
$200.
Yeah,
what is he going to make him out of? Come on, guys. Come on.
I did think that the panel though was very good. The fact they got that Minoc guy, I forget his name. Sorry, his website is like minocden.com.
Minoc's Den, yeah.
He does all the cosplay
yeah.
stuff. Having him there was a great shout out back, giving back again to the community and then getting more people involved. Because if you want to buy the stuff, then he's the guy to go to. So
they flew him out.
I liked that, to be honest. I enjoyed it. I thought the actual setup was terrible because the stream crashed so many times. It was ridiculous. And I understand that's kind of normal now for a SWTOR stream, but it really wasn't their fault in that instance.
No, it wasn't. It was just...
They have zero control over that. And I'm like super harsh over the streaming stuff, but that literally wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
No.
I'd love to see them do something like that again. That was very entertaining, I thought.
They should do it. I think I've said this for years, though. I don't get why they don't stream all of the Cantina tours. Because, like, for example, Garrett did a follow-up podcast where he did the Q&A. And I just thought, why didn't you broadcast the Q&A? Just like you had cameras there, you have internet there.
Yeah, that always
stream there.
It never made sense to me. Like you look at like RuneFest, for example. Jax puts that on every year. Like they got so many cameras out the wazoo there. They got multiple angles for every freaking stream and presentation. They should totally engage more with the community with that kind of stuff. Like I don't know.
It seems like a gimme. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's not hard to just take a little iPhone or something or some kind of stream and just put on a pod. Have it
well, you can actually do it on iPhones now. I mean, modern phones now.
I've seen people stream the cantinas on iPhones for $4.
Yeah, just get an official guy, just hire him, and
Meerkat. Just use Meerkat. That's what a lot of people, like a lot of the podcasts that I watch for Star Wars.
Periscope's another one as well.
Yeah, they all streamed from like Celebration.
Yeah.
Just have a guy walk around, have it casual.
Giveaway, Can you imagine like a Musco camo or a
all the time.
Yeah, just pin a GoPro.
Just GoPro on Tate's forehead.
Yeah. I spoke to Musco about this before, and he said there was like a certain amount of red tape involved, and they couldn't necessarily just do it. But it seems like an easy way of getting more bang for your buck, because these events must cost them a colossal amount of money. Mm-hmm. And the only people who really benefit are the ones who are there.
Apparently, went open bar at one point. They didn't even need tokens.
That's also insane.
Yes.
Literally, put a GoPro on someone, record it, edit it, pass it past someone, and release it a month later. That's fine.
To me, it's almost like they're worried about letting slip some info that gets put on.
Edit it.
I don't know.
You don't have to do it live. You can always record it.
And there you go. Yeah, just save it for later.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry.
Sounds like work.
So that was the community cantina event. Moving on, I guess let's finally confront the big elephant in the room. I guess, or the
Ham's dog.
A specific episode of a podcast. I don't know.
The chemo thing. Jesus. Okay.
So there's been some talk, I guess, allegations against Miner and Potato, and I guess the data mining that we do.
Let me shut you down right there, because she never said Miner, and she never said Potato.
Well, who else is in the community doing it?
It was very, very vague. She didn't say Miner and Potato. She said a well-known... No, I'm only joking. Who else would it be? Seriously. I'm in the SWTOR community with 2 data miners, and I literally don't know any of the 2 data miners. I know of other data miners, but not anyone who does anything publicly. It was such a ridiculous comment.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is UtiniCast episode 227. They had a former host of TORCast. No, it was a guest, right? I don't think she was ever host. Was she co-host?
Not sure.
Of TORCast?
Regular?
Yeah.
No. She was on TORCast when... She wasn't one of the original hosts, but when it was the Sam and Musco were still friends era.
Okay, so basically, she's as much of a host as you are, or me are, or I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was a host of TORCast back in the Musco days, and she had this whole spiel, I guess, that she just went off in PR mode and just took over the interview.
I know,
with the TeenyCast guys, and I think caught Tio and Chill completely off guard.
I was genuinely surprised by the whole thing, because I've done a cast with Tio, and I know that I can be, as I am right now, quite overtaken on podcasts. but I guess probably because I'm not a sociopath, not saying that she is, I understand when is appropriate and when isn't to a certain degree. The thing that I found very jarring about that was the lack of any challenging questions to fairly outrageous and outlandish comments. Because if I said, for example, I invented the question mark, someone would probably say, what? no, you didn't. At some point in time, but that didn't seem to happen, and she kind of really ran rampant. So I know Tio, and Tio is an incredibly good and very intelligent and very, if you watch Routine Cast, you know that the show is, at its essence, has very high moral standards and is very objective. Same thing with Chill as well. It's a very, very good podcast. I think it's probably, apart from us, obviously, the best podcast running right now. But the thing I found quite jarring was the lack of challenge to the ridiculous things that were being said. And they were fairly ridiculous. Like, the one that... I had to watch it in, like, literally 4 or 5 takes because I just kept on noping out of it. I was like, well, I can't watch this. I can't do it anymore. The first one was the doxing thing. Like, if you dox anyone, you end up on the FBI's most wanted list, and they're going to ban you from flying ever, and your life is ruined. I was like, well, where's your source for that? Because, like, people have been doxed for the last 10 years, and that's pretty much never happened.
When you dox or threaten developers was kind of like her.
Oh, so basically, it's fine if you do it in the Star Wars game, because that happens to people on a regular basis in the Star Wars game, like yourself included, man.
You've been doxxed, I've been doxxed, like, it's fucking happened. Like, we had to go through all that stuff about hiding our Skype IP and using we had to set up all the VPNs because people were doxing us.
But if you do it in the industry, suddenly, because you make games for a living, the FBI are involved with you and you can't fly anywhere. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. It's just ridiculous.
I feel that in general, though, that, like, she is, like, for all intents and purposes, like, she's a developer. Like, listening to that interview, it basically, like, that's how I think that Musco's mindset is. Like, when he interacts with all of us, like, the same level of, like, delusion that she had is how Musco is.
Now, I wouldn't infer anything based on what she said onto Musco, because that's really not linked. But the thing I found crazy was there was a recent thing, like the whole Gamergate thing, where people were literally getting death threats. And they weren't on the FBI was wanting this. In most cases, they have no idea who these people are.
Nothing.
So,
exactly.
I think we're meant to believe this stuff happened. It was ridiculous comment after ridiculous comment. And please don't misinterpret my point here. I'm not saying that these people shouldn't be punished and they shouldn't be reported and they shouldn't be looked into. What I'm saying is it doesn't happen, and to declare that as black and white is disingenuous at best. And that was the first 8 minutes. I literally had to stop it at that point in time because I thought, oh my god, she's probably on crack or something. And all right, I'm going to get investigated by the FBI now because of slander. And the next part was the cartel market coin thing, which was another ridiculous statement. It was just a farcical statement after farcical statement, which I really, really struggled to listen to. And then when she got into the whole minor thing, so someone else other than me should probably explain what this is because I'll probably go really ham on it.
Maybe minor, if you want to explain.
So, at one point, there's several points where she referenced data miners. The one that was mainly directed at me was the Rudolph, the Tauntaun reindeer.
You f***ing neckbeard.
And that was in open beta, because I wasn't even working with you then, and I knew all about it and was so excited to see it come out.
Yeah, so...
No, Cam. That doesn't tie into the narrative.
It was blamed on data miners for being revealed too early, and some neckbeard complained, which is code word for atheist. When we're talking.
I had it all over my site too because I was all excited.
Anyways, yes, everybody was excited about it. It was viewable without.
I don't know what Santa Claus has to do with Christianity, but.
Yeah, that was my first thought as well. When I was listening, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, like it's generally
it could have just been cut for other reasons too. Like there's no.
Anyways, yeah, and so it was cut. Exactly. It was heavily implied that data mining plus neckbeards were the reason.
I wouldn't even say heavily implied. She stated it as fact.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
not. No, that was not the reason.
But she did the very
Yeah, we know that.
I'll say clever thing. I'll use our inverted commas. Clever thing. What she said was, "Let me give you a hypothetical situation."
Yes.
So a data miner gets his hand on a Christmas tauntaun, and hypothetically, this data miner then leaks it to the community, and then hypothetically, some neckbeard who's part of the patriarchy then complains about it all. Those are literally her words. Oh, sorry, she backpedaled on patriarchy slightly, and then she said, so they write a letter, and then it gets pulled from the game, so we don't get it. I was like, what the f*** are you smoking, you mad what the f*** that? None of that happened, hypothetically.
There's
even if it
the most
did,
logical reason why that would be
stupid
cut
fuck.
is because it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in a Star Wars game. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's non-canon. Like, if you want to put a little log mount and joke about that, that is funny. That's a running joke, and that's a good April Fool's. But it just was so forced and just didn't make sense. I mean, it was probably cut because the reaction of the community was like, "What is this?" Like.
It was the lore junkies that had it cut, if anything.
It's really good.
Yeah, it
It shouldn't even matter. It's such a trivial thing, too.
Don't call them lore junkies.
Yeah.
Call them neck-bearded patriarchy junkies.
Alright,
Just maintain the narrative.
So that's one thing. Let's keep going with this.
Yeah, let's
see
move
what,
on.
address these other points.
A whole pile of stuff that we got to plow through here. So
Minor
next,
has notes.
Yes, he does. He wrote notes.
Yeah, I wrote some notes to keep track. So the next thing that was brought up was model selling. Apparently, people have Second Life stores. If you don't know what Second Life is, it's an MMO for people that...
I wouldn't even call it
LT
an MMO.
internet. LT
Yeah.
internet.
It's for neckbeard members of the patriarchy who leak things.
It's like the AOL of MMOs.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good way to describe it.
If you want to figure out what it is, look up, oh my gosh, Esteban. Esteban Second Life. It's the funniest videos of
Yeah, there's no
this
actual
troll
gaming in it
Second
at
Life.
all.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, you can add your own models and stuff to it. You can buy packs and stuff. Anyways, somebody has extracted the models from SWTOR and other games, and they're selling the models on Second Life for in-game currency, which is bought in real-world currency. So it's funny money, but it's like cartel coins, but so people are selling them for that.
Which is not
You can trade them back, because I know some people that have done
Yeah,
stuff
some
on there.
people
Someone I
trade
knew
it back
made
into real
shoes,
money.
and she was making money off of it.
So there's that. That is a very douchey thing to do, because somebody spent a lot of time making that model, and it is not yours to sell.
So basically, the problem is people steal models.
And it's douchey, and it was heavily implied that it was a well-known data miner. Again, she was speaking hypothetically, and...
No, in this instance, she wasn't. She said it was.
It was
No,
a
she
data
said
miner.
100%, yeah. And her words were, it's a well-known data miner.
Yeah.
Now, I work with you and Potato. I know you both in various different capacities, and I'm involved with the community on many different levels. And I cannot name you one other public data miner at all.
No.
Can anyone else?
There are a few more that I know about, but again,
No,
not
public.
Yeah, not public.
Yeah, but public.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
she's referring to either you or Potato. It has to be one of those two because
let's-
there are no other two.
Let's figure out how this happened. So way back in the day, right, Miner, there were tools that other people created, right? Like,
Yes.
that existed out there for mining other games. And those were publicly available to anybody, every average Joe who wanted to get those. I mean, and that's how, like, people like Dolphy, they have those tools. You know, there's other people like Conquest Guy, he's got those tools, those very old ones. That's probably how they got a hold of those. Like, we are very, I mean, at least right now, we don't, you know, we went to great efforts to make sure those models are only for, like, informational purposes in our databases. We don't give those to people, you know, just willy-nilly. So I think it's just ridiculous that, you know, fingers are getting pointed here.
The ridiculous thing is, making a blank claim is ridiculous.
So, I will state for the record, I have never sold SWTOR assets. Okay? I've never asked anybody for money for any work that I do. I will preface that, though, saying that when we did the Kickstarter, I got a percentage of that, and that was the only time that I got a percentage where I may have asked for something.
But then again, that's for the you know, countless
That's for the
hours.
database.
You guys have no idea how many hours miners
You
put
really
into those
don't.
databases.
I personally find it
it's
infuriating.
So much.
It's almost like a full-time job that he's been doing.
Yeah.
So
when we had that article on Reddit about the early access thing, it really pissed me off because like Miner does, it's literally like a second full-time job, and these people were shitting in their hands about.
And if anything, people should be praising because we're stepping up where BioWare really dropped the ball here. There's no APIs for the game. There's no armory.
That's not the moral high road. It's just ridiculous to blame an individual.
It's just it's frustrating,
and especially when you blame an individual for something which you have zero evidence to back up. Let's please not forget the main point here. He's being accused of stealing SWTOR assets and publicly selling them for profit, of which there is zero evidence or proof, and of which there was zero challenge to prove. It's absolutely, it's mind-boggling how someone who comes across and says they're a professional at this thing and this is what they do for a living will try and hide behind little inferences of, oh, well known or this and that, when, you know, there's only like 2 people who they could possibly blame. It is absolutely blood-boiling that someone would say that.
And
like, I made the... Sorry, mate.
No, go. Finish your thought.
Well, I made the joke the other day that if I said a well-known host of TORCommunity or ex-host of TORCommunity who has Asian descent spent the weekend taking a lot of drugs and hooking up with a lot of guys in a direct retaliation to her, people would think I was talking about her, whereas we all know we're talking about me. May's top slag, you know. It's just... It's so easy to make these inferences where you talk about one person and the other person. It's just ridiculous that someone would go on there and try and hold the moral and professional high ground while saying these ridiculous statements. And I will say, I'll say it openly, it's shame on TORCommunity for not mentioning that, because they should not have allowed a person to publicly shame someone with zero proof whatsoever without challenging it.
They couldn't get a word in on our...
Oh, they could have. I mean, no, Tio's not a shy guy. I mean, and neither is Chill when he needs to be. It's just, at some point in time, you have to realize this person is saying something which is damaging to a reputation of an individual, of a human being who does stuff for fun and for a hobby, who helps everyone. And you have a duty as a host to say, well, what's your evidence? And that's all I have to say. What is your evidence? Not an argumentative stance. You've said all these crazy things. Where's your proof? Oh, I don't have any. Well, maybe you should shut the up and sit the down. You don't just go on there and just say random shit about people. It's obscene.
And Hayward made a good point when he said that, like, you guys are doing things that BioWare isn't doing. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't be able to do an armory, you wouldn't be able to do, like, a character builder, you wouldn't be able to do this database
That's
without,
why I don't
like,
think people
the tools that Miner is using.
But they're punishing us, too.
Well, I mean, like...
Think of it this way. I don't think...
Welcome.
I don't think a lot of the community knows how it works. Well, like, guys, here's an example. I don't think the community knows how you would create a site like TORhead, for example. Like, when we stepped up to replace TORhead, I don't think anyone really grasps what that entails. Like, how do you do that? Where do we get all this data from? Because BioWare doesn't give APIs or doesn't give the data, you know, public facing, the data you need for like an items database, you have to use data. There's no other way to do it. There literally is no other way. So if you have a game like RuneScape, you've got freaking tools that are right there. You don't need to data mine the game. It's all there. You can just tap right into it and display it. There's no way to do a community fan site database project without doing this data mining. It's a necessary thing.
And I will say this about BioWare: the way the game is structured internally does not lend itself to creating an API very easily.
Yeah, it's so much effort and resources and time they do not have right now. When you have your staff working on PvP, PvE, story, and bug fixes all at the same time, you don't have time to make APIs for the community, or you don't have time to make your SWTOR website, renovated, or add new pages for that.
Now,
here's a question from the chat, really quick. How come the data miners refuse to release story leaks just because the devs asked them not to? Okay.
So they asked us to. I went to that. I went to Tate and Musco. Actually, I think I went to Tate initially, and Musco got added to the conversation. And I said, "Hey, look, you know, we're going to get access. Somebody's going to get access to this information. What would you like not shared? And I went to them, and they said story, basically. They wanted to make it all the way to launch without the story being revealed. And I've stuck by that. Now
we're trying to work with them. We're trying to, you know, respect their interest. There's only so much we can do, though. It's like you can't.
The thing to bear in mind is, like, us and SWTOR are not, like, you know, enemies. We that isn't the dynamic that we have.
I don't think they realize why we do what we do. Like, this isn't a business. This is
story isn't really something that we want to push forward, though, either. I mean, we don't want to give the story away. It's a bit like if someone said the next game, unless you're Potato and you want those internet points. If the next Game of Thrones season is coming up, I'm sure some people want to have the spoilers, but a lot of people don't. And once those spoilers are out of the bag, it's very hard to get them back in again. Mm-hmm. You know, I had that entire season ruined for me by some idiot on Twitter. You just don't want to spoil the thing that people care about. Game mechanics, changes to crafting, changes to armor, don't really affect anyone on an emotional basis. They are just mechanical changes. Whereas story is something that your character is meant to go through on a unique journey, and it is the main thrust of this expansion. So spoiling that is a huge deal for them. And if we spoil it, and if we give it away, some idiot will be on some Twitch chat spamming Snape kills Dumbledore, and that's the end of it for everyone. Darth Maul dies, oh my god, shit.
Kephess kills Valkorion.
You know,
you heard it here
because they blacklist you, and, like, I'm a vindictive, so, like, this is just me, but, like, the way that they treat you guys, because, like, I can't get involved in it because the way that they treat you guys, us anymore, like, don't you just want to screw them over? Like, don't you just, like, want to release everything to be like, fine, if you guys are going to be that way and act that way, then I will too?
Oh, no, yeah, because, I mean, my job on the website is to do all these picture galleries. I can't do that with data mine stuff. I need to get in-game.
If BioWare was smart, they would have put us all under NDA.
Yeah, the smart thing
that's the clever thing,
put us
isn't
under
it?
the NDA.
If they didn't want us to leak anything, they would have all put us in the closed thing and put us on the test server and let us give feedback.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if you put a miner in the beta test, he still has to mine. Because even if he's under NDA, mining admits publicly that you're under NDA.
But we save it all and we release it on release day. We don't.
Like, you have to mine.
A little bit here,
if I
a little
was
bit there.
ever in beta, I still would have to mine because I would be publicly admitting that I've.
Well, the best thing would be is to reach an agreement with them, where you're allowed to use this data for
an agreement.
Yeah, I know, right? What
dialogue?
A dialogue? What is
this?
I'd love to
let
post
them
up the database for beta testers.
If we do an agreement with them and say, hey, let us actually, make our database, make our items database, NPCs, all this stuff, but just we'll hold off on any story and all this content until launch day, and then we'll turn it on, right? Work with us here. Work with us.
My mind, right? We're all clearly passionate about this game, because not only do we play it, we have a podcast about it. I have a stream about it. Zam has a blog about it. May used to have a blog about it. Minor Minds for it. Cam also works on the website and has a blog about it. We all clearly like this game. None of us wants it to fail. None of us wants to do badly at all point in time. If there was ever an argument to get people on the beta, it would be people like us.
I think you're also in an abusive relationship with SWTOR.
Well, I think I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think their mindset is incorrect. I don't think it's an abusive relationship. I understand why it would be I understand why you say that. I genuinely.
And not only was I flagged because I work with you guys, even though I don't do the data mining.
Our entire guilds were
My
flagged.
entire guild was flagged.
So I had to explain to a lot of my guildies that I really.
Yeah, what's your source
on that
Cam?
one?
Yeah, source.
I can't tell you.
Yeah. Yeah,
now, it's the guy that got us in last time, beta, which my entire guild was in.
So then
Same here,
we
yeah.
went to this guy and
to test the ops, and
So
he said,
a guy told me.
because we've been all
You
been
guys knew that was going to happen, though. Like, you saw it happen with Minor
Yeah,
and
I'm
not
not-
in TORCommunity.
I'm
agree.
I'm not too upset. Like, I know Kim's a little upset. But that's what her galleries require that.
Well, what do I do now? I go into server and say, join my guild. You won't be allowed in beta. It's not.
What am I? I mean, I'd rather have
That's what I need
access.
to do. I
I'd-
need to get in and take the pictures. That's my
I'd
job.
rather have access to build these databases for the community than testing myself. Like,
Alright.
it wasn't even a choice for me. Like, I don't.
Can I interject here and just say some things? All right. First off, I would like to do nothing better than to work with them. The problem is that you can't just work with the community team on something like this. There's lawyers and there's management of other companies that would get involved, and for the most part, it just wouldn't functionally work in the situation. Now, they're a lot more adversarial than they necessarily need to be and should be, because if you don't acknowledge data mining is going to happen and you don't plan for it, okay, you will be constantly embarrassed by it. Constantly.
How many times have you found something that was a bug and reported it to them and they fixed
Yeah.
it? Countless
I do that all the
times.
time.
But
Literally all
Potato was data mining the PTS. They posted up the class changes post, and it was from like 4 builds ago.
Yeah.
Sorks can move in barriers.
This goes back to the community doesn't truly understand what it all
This is the point
entails.
that I
What
was
are
trying to
we,
make originally. The relationship that they think we have is like adversarial, and they think we're against them, and they think we're trying to shut things down and make things worse, and we really aren't. It's not even a case of giving the people what they want. It's a case of we want the information available for the people who need it. Not the whole, oh my God, this happens in Chapter 1, this happens in Chapter 3. Not that. The whole, if you're a crafter and you don't know what to do, where do you go? If you're an operative DPS and you don't know what to do, where do you go? If you just joined the game and you've leveled up to 65 and you don't know what's going on, where do you go? That's the stuff that we want to put out there, and that's what isn't there at all right now. You have some guides on various different sites, but that's pretty much it. But it's not an us versus them thing. It's very misunderstood.
and the other thing that frustrates me, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but when we have other people in the community too that are making their own fan sites or their own stuff, people are accusing like, oh, you're just doing it for clicks, right? It's a big competition for you guys, right? It's not at all. It's not at all like that. But I mean, for some people in the community, yeah, I think those other fan sites, they are doing it for clicks. I think that they're gonna, pay people to write guides for them. They're gonna buy different tools. They're gonna do all these different things. We're not about that. Like, I don't think this is all volunteer work. We're doing it because the community needs it. There's no other site right now that can do it. And if you take that away, where's that going to leave the game? And I'll leave it with that. Like, what happens if you no longer have those databases, those guides, those, what happens when Dolphy can't have Miner make a discipline calculator or what happens when Conquest guy doesn't have Miner's data dumps anymore to make his database. What does that leave the game?
Everybody in the community has used data mined information
Everybody,
at one point. Okay, the TORCommunity guys, they had theory crafting guys on, right? Mm-hmm. All that stuff's data mined. All the stuff that they were talking about, data mined. Dolphy's got data mined stuff. Everybody's got it.
That goes back to, remember they took down a post on the forum. It was a Bant's guide to optimal stat distributions for all 24 disciplines. Mm-hmm. They took it down because it thanked Potato and Miner for the coefficients. Because they were data mined coefficients. And sure, you could use some really complicated Mathematica or linear algebra to calculate those on your own based on reading, all right, equip a piece of gear, read the stats, unequip it, do another piece of gear.
Or just not thank the source.
Yeah, or you could just get the thing directly. Now, I know Musco did say that he's going to release those coefficients publicly on the forums eventually, which is good. I mean, that's what I'm going for here, is I'm saying, hey, BioWare, give us this data directly so we don't have to mine it. Just give us these coefficients, give us all this stuff, so that we can give it to the community, or other people in the community can make use of it, make cool, fan sites or programs and so on. But people just don't realize that, that's data mining. You don't have a guy that tells you exactly what gear to wear unless you data mine those coefficients or spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to calculate it on your own.
And I'm sure they had theory crafters in beta for 4.0.
it's very frustrating. I mean, and since I got more involved with like people like you guys and Miner and Potato, hearing the stuff they have to go through, from my point of view, is infuriating. Because they aren't doing anything like to hurt the game or because
we don't make any money. I'm gonna be upfront.
We originally started this with the whole Kimi.
We lose money every month on this.
They were saying it was based around clicks, and you got to get them clicks, and you got to get them clicks. That's not. I can't think of any conversation. I will happily disclose. Well, I wouldn't happily disclose any of the Skype conversations because there's some pretty dodgy stuff in them. But if I could edit out my comments from Skype conversations, because I don't really contribute anything to them anyway, it's just. You will understand that they genuinely don't care about the monetary side or the clicks or anything else. It just isn't an issue. I wish they would, because I really, personally, from my point of view, I find it painful the amount of work that Miner and Potato put in for nothing at all. I personally find it very frustrating that they get shit on by various people because of it.
Well, I get frustrated.
But, your stance is your stance.
I don't know how Miner can put up with when someone on Reddit
drives me nuts.
Someone else takes credit for the hard work Miner and Potato did. They're like, "Oh, Delphi, I love your new calculator. It's so good." And it's like, who do you think made that? It was Miner. That's what really gets me the most personally. Is the credit where credit's due. Mm-hmm. And then they turn Miner into the bad guy. Why?
Or when they steal the things that he's made and then use it on their website. I mean, I'm
address it. Yeah, go for it. They need to know. They need to know. They need to know.
Recently, somebody acquired my data dumps, full versions of them, and posted them to their own site. Without referencing where the data came from.
Why would they do such a thing?
Who was that Miner?
I'm not going to name him. He's a prominent SWTOR database.
Data miner.
Oh, I wonder it could be the only other database in SWTOR right now, right?
Look,
I've also selling things in the second shop.
I've talked to the guy. We have a understanding in place now, but I can't say much more than that. But our database will not be the only database on the block at launch, from what I understand. So there's a hidden database waiting in the wings.
It's good. It's good when the community works together, to get this data and kind of feed off each other. We scratch your back, you scratch ours. Get the best we can for the community.
I wish you send me some pictures. So
yes, and I have a very good relationship with the guy that's running the other database that's going to be coming online. Mm-hmm. So I was originally working with him. I thought he dropped off the scene entirely, but now he's back, and you're going to like some of the stuff he can do.
But it's good for everyone.
It's good, yeah. There's going to be cross links from our database to his and from his to ours. Mm-hmm. So if you don't like the info on our page, you can go to his page and check out the info too.
But that's how the community should be. You know what I mean? Like there's such like this
just
negative.
Give them the names. Tell them all the names. I'm tired of all the secrecy.
Negative connotation that in this community there's all this competition, but there's
the
so many
names.
people.
Give the names of the good guys and give the names of the guys that really screwed us over.
Who's a really good example, and he was supposed to be on today, is Andrew. That Andrew has his own blog. Yeah. He has his own thing.
SWTOR economics for people.
SWTOR, and it's
he's a good guy.
So he's all about spreading the information and the community being stronger and working together. Mm-hmm. And so it's really disheartening, and one of the reasons that they had to leave is because there's this animosity that everyone's worried about the $4 that they're going to make a month on their website, so they have to be rude to each other.
Well, we have to wait until launch to give the good database name, but the other database.
The other database was SWTOR data.
SWTOR data. They took all miners' data without asking.
Wow.
Well, okay, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
And then they built a downvote ring on Reddit to downvote us and got shadow banned for a few days.
Yeah, no, see,
that guy.
Look,
just call it like it is. What happened?
There was another person involved that gave the data to him. And
Dolphy. Sorry.
I'm not even.
Sorry, he said guy.
Guy.
Oh wait,
yes.
I'm wrong. Sorry, my mistake.
Anyways,
Anyway,
so
it's over. They worked it out.
Situation. I've worked it out. You'll hear more about it in the future, though. So don't get too hard on those other people. They did a kind of silly thing, and it hurt me.
We've all made mistakes. I've made mistakes too in the past.
I'm not gonna be petty about it.
Yeah.
They owned up to it when
You really should be.
when they were questioned about it. They owned up to it. So good
Eventually.
on that. No, and as soon they did it immediately. So
I mean, yeah, going forward, it shouldn't be a competition. We should all be working together on this stuff. We're not making money on this. We lose a lot of money on it, actually, except for that's why we needed to have a bigger Kickstarter to survive for a while. But it's
we're not a top rank 100,000 rank site.
Close. We should break 100,000 next week, maybe if it keeps going up.
It isn't TORCommunity versus Dolphy. That isn't.
It's
thing.
not. We should be working it. If I had my way, and the rest of the team doesn't agree with me, but if I had my way, I would say, Dolphy, we want to work with you. We'll give you our tool tips. You put them on our site. You can take care of the guides. Let's link each other back and forth. Let's work together on this. But Dolphy hates my guts. Just I don't know why, but she has no intention of.
I still work with Dolphy. I fixed her discipline calculator up for 4.0. So
You're the enemy, mine. I hate you.
yes,
I get so mad at you when you do stuff for her because I always feel like she just screwed you over so much in the past, and as your friend it makes me really angry.
but I am the better person.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
are.
but the lesser person gets
Yes,
$2,000 for
not.
guides. So maybe
Yeah,
be the
that's
lesser
valid.
person. Buy a new PC.
Yeah, if you want to give Miner money, Miner's a good guy. He doesn't ask for money much. So if you want to give Miner money,
We
you can
really
use it right now.
We really should start a Patreon for you because I genuinely find it irritating how much work you do. It actually pisses me off.
It kills me that we don't have the revenue that a site like Dolphy has to give back to all this hard work that's going into it.
Yeah, we had that Kickstarter money, but
I mean, it's
I got
already
a fraction of the Kickstarter money. Oh, you already used all
Well,
of it.
not all. We have the server costs set aside for the next year and 2 years, but
yeah. But the extra past server costs was already used up. So
so.
I don't even know what the next point is, but I hope it's good.
That was the main one.
Oh wait, we're talking about how Chemo's a horrible person.
we were going to talk about choices, right?
I think
Let me tell you a true
let's.
story. Let me tell you a true story. So I tried to listen to that Chemi article thing, and when I was listening to it, I kind of fell asleep a few times, and I had a dream about my granddad. So my granddad died of chest cancer. He had lung cancer, and when I used to smoke really, really heavily, I vape now, which is great because my mother said to me when I was in my 30s, and she said, one day you're gonna have a kid, and maybe you want to see that kid graduate and get married. You probably don't care now because you don't have it, but you might care about it. And I thought, you know what, that really, really hits home that maybe I should stop living this life where I'm drinking all the time and smoking all the time and just cut something out. So I stopped smoking, and it meant nothing because listening to that entire interview just gave me cancer.
Well, okay, to be fair, Tio likes to edit out pauses between words, and it made her sound a little manic.
Did he edit out his questions as well?
He edited out some content as well, from what I understand. Some of her responses were lost from that interview. And
I guess.
Tio apparently edited out the worst of the worst. And he says that'll remain on the cutting room floor, so we don't know exactly.
Oh my.
Let me go message Tio. I want to get that shit.
So he has stated that he won't give it to anybody, and that's fine. This is prerogative. Go, Snave.
No, so what's the next point, guys? What are we talking about now?
Well, one thing I guess I wanted to show before we end is I wanted to give a quick little preview, I guess, of some of the things on the site that are coming soon, I guess. If that's cool with you guys, maybe we can talk a bit about.
Sure.
See if I can throw those up here.
Great.
Just move that a bit. Alright, it's kind of plopped in the middle. We'll just redo that. There we
Gotta
go.
wait for Hitbot or for Twitch to catch up.
Cool.
Cheers, man.
So one thing you guys might have noticed recently is we finally made the switch to a dark theme on the site. We put up a poll, big straw poll, and overwhelmingly everyone was like, "Go dark, guys! Go to the black theme or the dark theme."
Once you go dark, you don't.
Pretty much. So we did it. If you guys see feedback, let us know. It's still kind of bugging us a few areas, but if you want to go back to the light theme, it's on the left there. You can always switch. Besides that, we just launched our live events calendar. So if you want to put a Star Wars event scheduled publicly for everyone or private, there's a private option as well. Go ahead and go to our tools and event calendar, and you can then go through the dialogues to add an event to whatever day you want. It's very straightforward.
Put an ASCII tick on it.
Oh.
Just a little tip. Just a tip.
I have no idea what you're doing. Anywho. Yeah, you get the events calendar. And besides that, we've got a couple other things in the works as well. We have a new character builder we're developing with UC Potato and the rest of the team. This is
it working now?
Sort of. Pretty much what this is going to do is going to be kind of a replacement to Ask Mr. Robot, where you had you pretty much pick your gear, pick your mods and your enhancements and so on. And then you can share your builds with people and your characters. So right now you can kind of see this is a very rough demo, I guess, of the capability so far. It still has a lot of work to do, but you can see the new interface. You can modify different armorings just by clicking stuff right here, and toggling filters and so on. A lot of work to do still with this, but we're hoping to have this up in a few weeks. So you guys can
I'm not involved in this at all because it is super complicated.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest headache between even the UI and then actually picking the different enhancements and so on. Eventually what will happen is you'll be able to have the search of the whole database right to the right here.
He implemented his own search and he's actually regenerating tooltips on the fly. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the amount of headaches involved are just absolutely bonkers. Stat optimization too is going to be a long way. What we're going to probably do with that is just take the best in slot, like right now 198s or something is the.
Well, there's going to be a whole lot of stat optimization come 4.0.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty simplified, but it'll tell you like, okay, you're
at the cap.
Yeah, it's like you're at the cap. Here's you're stacking way too much crit. Go ahead and swap a few pieces or something. So. You'll have that to look forward to pretty soon. We'll link it with our discipline calculator. That's going to be updated for 4.02, and go ahead and show that for people who don't know that exists.
Wait, there's a discipline calculator somewhere other than Dolphy?
What? And it looks just like the one in game? Oh my gosh. But this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We finally, I can't remember, I think it was it Potato that did this? We got it with our new short links working too. So you can go ahead and embed this on your website with our embed code, or you can share it with the short links, and it will share exactly what you see, just like in game. All the hover tooltips, you can change different specs and classes and so on. So yeah, that's there for you. We'll have a small version embeddable soon too. You can make it small like that. Other than that, I'm trying to think what else we have around the table. There's quite a bit.
Did you go to the deep site and show them the NPCs and companions?
Oh yeah, let's go on the dev site real quick here. Show you the fun that's coming your way with this.
Item search is mostly localized too. Mostly is the keyword.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly.
One thing you'll notice on the dev site is we have our language selectors. Those will be soon. We're going to pretty much have database is only going to be German, French, and English because that's all the game officially supports. We do have people that are working with us to translate all our menu items and the actual guides on the site, so that those will be localized to pretty much every language you can possibly think of. We've even got like Polish and Italian in there, so you can look forward to that pretty soon as well. Let's go ahead and go into the databases here, and we'll show a quick rundown of NPCs coming up. You didn't add it yet, did you, to the...
I didn't add it to the main one, search NPC.
Search NPC here.
And then search companion. It's the other one.
Alright, here's the work in progress that Miner's been doing. You can see they got all these NPCs in here. I'm going to click one.
The delay is terrible on Twitch.
Yeah, it's a little bit behind. You can see here, you got the abilities for NPC, we got our comment system in there, and then detailed data. That's another thing, guys. Miner's been gracious enough to have an open source detailed data array on every single database item that we have on the site. So this is all public info. We're not hiding anything. You know, every bit we have is right there.
Well, I'm hiding a little bit on the NPC pages because
story spoilers, right? So.
It's like two other lookups. So like you see the NPC data, but then there's a class spec that you got to look up, and then there's an ability package you got to look up for that. And so it's like two other deep that are in the database that I need to put onto that page.
Yeah, exactly. And then here we have let's do companion, right? Yeah, companion.
Yeah, companion. I got the little images working for companions too. So, show him Darth Mar. Or Gus. Gus is interesting.
The only one I have in my history is Lana, so I guess we'll go to Lana.
I could have done search.
There we go. It's a little delayed. So there's Lana. You can see he's added the new tank roll, DPS roll, and heal roll abilities. So each one is breaking down. If you set her in tank stance, you get all those. Got DPS here. Other abilities. You know, the whole kit and caboodle. It's pretty robust. It's amazing the amount of hours he spent putting this in there. Yeah, so that's pretty much the things we have right around the corner. Of course, there's always more, but there's only so many hours in the day, guys. You know, it's a lot of work, and yeah.
Well, if you want to show them the item search, that you can then go to the French, or it should translate the French.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead.
Filters are mostly in French too, and German.
There we go. Oh, well, we can show that later, I guess, the items with the rest of it. But it's yeah, around the corner. Got all the things we pretty much promised the Kickstarter. We're just trying to deliver on those and give those tools for the community and go from there. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to cover? I guess anything in the rumor mill?
Someone was asking me about the pictures we're putting up of the raid gear. I will have that page up, but right now, of course, 3/4 of the pictures are missing on it. But those ones that you are seeing, Potato was nice enough to get those for me. I will have those up there under 4.0 adaptive gear.
And as always, we're always working on guides too. If you'd like to help us, we've got a bunch of people working on different like classes and so on. But if you're like a master of your rotation, we have all these templates made for 4.0 in terms of class guides. So if you want to help us with that, all we pretty much need now is the rotations for each of those classes. So feel free to email us. admin@TORCommunity.com is the best way to get a hold. And you can also contact us on Twitter or Facebook or pretty much any way you want. You just don't come to our house and stalk us or anything like that. Yeah. Alrighty. So,
do you mind me asking, in the scenario of what we're going to be doing in 4.0 as individuals, like what will we each be bringing to TORCommunity in the next expansion? So, Cam, what are we doing?
Oh my goodness, I've just been going around updating the old cartel market stuff because I really can't do anything until 4.0 hits because, of course, everything I do is screenshots.
Yeah.
So we're talking tons of pictures, gear, weapons, pets, speeders. I mean, everything. So decorations.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Okay, and Hayward. Oh, Hayward, what are you doing?
Do me last. I'll show you guys. Just go ahead and go around the horn first, then I'll.
Okay, Mina, what are you bringing to TORCommunity in 4.0? Off from the casual cat stroking like some kind of supervillain.
Localized database. Whole kit.
What is that for the average person like me who has no idea what you're talking about?
So basically, the database should be fully localized into English, French, and German, and will be accessible as such and linkable. So that, yeah.
So, okay.
All right, now I'm ready.
Sam,
or you can go ahead.
What are you doing, Sam?
I don't actually do that much with TORCommunity except the social media stuff.
That's pretty important.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, I do that. I am hoping to cross-post more of my lore posts from my own blog to TORCommunity because I'll be doing want to do a heap of those for 4.0. So, yeah.
Can I tell you what I'd love to hear from Sam? And chat, you can agree with me if you want to. I'd like to see some fan fiction from from Sam. Especially the erotic.
That would be cool. We are adding a machinima section soon. So.
The more erotic, the better.
I do have a lot of stuff in my head, so I just have to write it down.
It's like sand. It's coarse and fine, and it doesn't.
It's everywhere.
I want to hear your coarse, fine, erotic language. So May, let's just assume for a second you're coming back for 4.0. What would you bring to TORCommunity?
Cynicism and mean girl attitude.
Those are both my favorite things. All right. Hey, sorry. What else, May? Apart from coarse and cynicism.
I don't know. I mean, I would like for there to be like PvE operation Elder Game. I would like for there to be Elder Game, but that's just like asking for something that's not there. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Hayward, are you ready now?
Now I'm ready to show you guys.
Do you have your like PowerPoint presentation ready?
Let's,
like I ever forget myself.
There we go. Try this. Yeah, there it is. Perfect. Great. There we go. So this little doozy is the interactive maps for Worlds. So right now I've been working with Melody from. She used to have a site called Melody's Codex Maps. I think it's still live, but we've been hard at work doing this new stuff with Leaflet. I'll go and do a demo here. Let's do Hydro Supply Station. So we've been able to load the Star Wars maps into our little applet on the site, and they actually show the proper coordinates. You have no idea how many hours I spent figuring out how to convert where my mouse is on this map to the actual Star Wars coordinate, and to also make it so that when I enter in things onto the map, I can actually just type in the SWTOR coordinate, and it puts it on the map in that location. So we're cranking away on these. There's a lot of different maps available, different zoom levels and so on. There's
eventually maybe I'll get you the NPC.
That's a lot of shit. Totally.
Yes, yeah. If we can get NPC coordinates, it would make this way easier. Here's an older version. It doesn't have my cool borders, but it does have the example pop-ups, so you can see like, oh, there's all the champions if you go in the little, you know.
So as a quick aside, there was a mention a while ago about some kind of overlay type thing going on.
Yes, that's something that's been at the moment shelved just because there's, you know, we only have so many hours in the day and we don't have enough devs and help to work on it. But we were going to do some stuff with Overwolf actually to have an, you know, kind of an in-game lookup for guides and
Miner doesn't got time.
Yeah, we just ain't nobody got time for that right now.
Can I tell you guys though, like what Hayward's showing you, that stuff, I helped Hayward with it for a little bit, and it takes so long to do that.
You have no idea. You have to slice this map into like little tiles. You have to do all these functions to get the coordinates right. It's the
just
huge
like
headache.
Going and trying to like find the places and like having to like it takes so long to get everywhere and like check and make sure that all the information is correct, because like lots of the information out there right now is wrong. Mm-hmm. So it takes like a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had time, I could get you that. No problem.
Mm-hmm. So, like how am I supposed to know that the Sinduri Flatlands Imperial Outpost is at 862?
You didn't know that?
I had to actually go there. I had literally with my character go there and stand on it.
What kind of casual are you? You disgusting.
I could have given you the map coordinates.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. But yeah, I know Potato did pass a few of those coordinates, and we're working on it. So hopefully, you know, soon, Trademark will have this available for everybody to see.
Soon, Trade.
There we go, Coruscant.
So, from my point of view, in 4.0, I will absolutely 100% no backseas, guaranteed, no more procrastinating, despite promising it for probably 2 years. Make PvP guides for the Warzone maps. I was going to do it beforehand. However, it came so close to 4.0, it seemed pointless. And with all the changes, it will change how you play things in Warzone. Yeah. So I didn't really get the point for it. But I will 100% do a map-by-map guide. And I make no promises other than my one solemn promise. It will always be better than Wizbaski's. So, that's the only promise I can give you.
Fun stuff.
So, anyways, people are still watching this?
Yeah, apparently.
Imagine that.
Of course they are.
They're loving it.
Why wouldn't they?
They really are just waiting to see more of Kim's dog. Let's be honest here. Let's get real.
All right.
Oh, there he is.
I actually think it's more. I think it's more May's puppies at this point in time, to be honest.
He needs
it's
a little
so cute.
Sith outfit or something.
Oh my god, it's so adorable.
Yes, a Sith outfit, or like a Yoda outfit. You should do the Yoda outfit.
He's got the ears for it.
I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. They come with ears, and he doesn't need them. He already has them.
That's what he does.
Well, they come with ears. My dog came with no ears.
Aww.
Oh.
A short change.
Aw.
Did it come with a tail?
He's got half a tail. My dogs are both rescue dogs, man.
Like a
They'd be
little
the
Philly tail.
Probably why he doesn't have ears.
Oh, here's another one. A question from the chat from Banger XZ. Was any of the stuff that she said about PvPers cheating true, Snave? So we're going back to the Kimmy
Okay,
interview.
so I can actually answer this question. So it's a yes and a no. So basically, you can do certain things with macros, because what she was talking about was macros, and she was inferring that macros are cheating. And then there was other piece of software which will queue on what you do, which is also kind of cheating because it's not really built in with the game engine. So I'm not going to focus on the programs because the programs don't necessarily work in the way that it was portrayed. I can focus on some of the other things. So there's only one.
Oh, you mean it doesn't increase your healing by 2 million HP or 2 million total stats every game, like she was saying?
It's completely
They go
impossible.
from 2 million to 4 or 5 million healing. No one's doing that.
Yeah, that's completely impossible. So there's only one really game-breaking macro in the game, and it's a very simple macro. So macro, in case you don't know, is basically where you press a button and it does multiple things. So for example, let's say I want to put a macro on my keyboard, because my keyboard has a macro thing where I can type in different stuff into it. I log in every day, so rather than type my password, I press a button and it macros my password. Yeah, that's one example for it. You know, another example would be if you write down on paper what your best hypothetical rotation would be, and then press that button and loop it, then you could theoretically have perfect DPS on like a target dummy. So in PvP, rotation macros generally don't work that well because it's PvP and the situation changes a lot of the time. So it's very difficult to have a perfect PvP macro. It's almost impossible. I mean, I played WoW for years, and there was like bazillions of games doing, programs doing different stuff for that. And it was always very hard for them to make a PvP macro. So what she's talking about is a right-click macro, which is very much a thing. So when I used to do a reality check show back when I was on Toffin, which was like a PvP podcast, much like Better Than Crossover. And one of the things we discussed there is we had a guest called Gariki who was from a guild called Drama, and they were very much like a kind of a second-tier guild at the time. And we were basically talking about macros. And basically what would happen was when you were on Hutball, you have a macro where when you press your right mouse button, rather than pressing your mouse button once, it presses it like 1,000 times a second. So, in Hutball, that's obviously a gargantuan advantage. It's super, super good to have that. And that is game breaking, and that was the main problem with Hutball, is that you would have these teams that use these macros, and even though they were shit teams, they would get the ball, and in 8-man rank, that was the most important thing to do. And then they would score. And there was not really much you could do about it, because you got like an entrenched sniper or an assassin with immunity up. You can't stop them. They have a bazillion clicks a second. So in the terms that she was talking about, it's complete nonsense. There's no other way to describe it other than complete nonsense.
Yeah, I've heard people claim like, oh man, you're doing like, bajillion more DPS per second than everyone else. There's nothing you can do to like edit those stats. So they aren't even. They're not client side. Like
there's certain things you can do in terms of like rotationally. There's certain things you can do, and in terms of like cues. I mean, I know there's like there's already programs that exist that read your combat log and give you sound cues for procs and things. So I mean, those things exist, but they aren't. They aren't going to turn you from a 2 million healer to a 4 million.
Yeah, that's not game breaking. Like a good thing comes to mind is Star Parse added the ability to like have HOTS timers. So like when your raid group runs, when the HOTS run off, you have to use a little beep or something. That's a quality of life feature. That's a quality of life feature.
Cheater.
the example she gave was 2 million to 4 million, and that doesn't exist. Healing. Yeah.
Which, like, as a healer, I
It's
cannot,
impossible.
other than, like, okay, I mean, and Chimes is telling me that a lot of the Bastion PvPers did use macros for stuff that didn't share GCDs. But even in that case, like, as a sword healer, things that don't share GCDs or used to not is, like, tap. So, like, your healing's not going up by 2 million by that, you know?
There's no way that it's what she was describing. That you press, like, you basically, what she was describing was basically autoplay. Like, you just go AFK and, you know, it all works out just fine. That isn't how it works at all.
She was
in any
complaining
sense of the
several
word.
different issues.
Yeah,
it's
so
the same thing.
There's definitely a macro issue, and it definitely can help you, but it isn't to the it's not as described. Basically, would be the easiest way to summarize it. So much like the rest of the interview, it was full of shit.
Anyway.
Yeah, but she's a game dev, you know. She's obviously clued up, which is why she was wrong on every single fucking front.
Wasn't wrong.
And that's why she's an independent game dev and doesn't really have any money or saying power in anything.
So before we wrap up, so is there anything you guys would want to say in, you know, a too long didn't read version of this last how long have we been doing, like 2 hours here, to the community, to the devs, or to anybody who's watching? Just if you'd sum it up in a sentence, like what
Miner could use some money. No.
Miner could use some.
Hey, if you want me to fix stuff for you, BioWare, just give me a job.
There you go. Hire the miner.
I'll make you a database.
Make it in-house. We'll put the database in-house.
I've dealt with Joomla, okay? Ain't
Hire all
nothing
of
you
them.
can throw at.
I gave miner Joomla aids, and now...
Jades.
Yeah,
Is that why you're so
Jades.
jaded?
Joomlas.
Better than WordPress aids.
We love you, Minger. There you go.
Yeah, so...
I love you, Minger. I have no idea who you are.
I've never seen you before, but we love you, Minger.
Yeah, I don't know who you are, but yeah.
I actually met Minja once. He's a
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So that's KephessCast episode 7. We'll try and I'm actually gonna get these up on iTunes like within the week because May is back and I'm gonna like hound her to give me the old files that have not been given to me.
Dropbox doesn't work on my computer, so I don't know how to.
You need to like just FedEx them to me or something on like a thumb drive or something.
That would probably be like the easiest way for me to do
so I can post these up because I know
I
people
will
are
mail it
asking.
to
But
Yeah.
send it by carrier pigeon or attach it to Kem's dog and have her just
Ow.
homeward bound across the country to get it to me. So.
That movie makes me sad.
Like this if you cry every time. All right. All right, guys. If you want to find us, we're TORCommunity on Twitter, TORCommunity on Facebook, TORCommunity.com. We've all got our own individual stuff too. You can go around the horn, I guess. Mine's the It Factor on Twitter. You can also email me at Hayward at TORCommunity.com. Zam, how can they get a hold of you?
You can find me on Twitter at Rach_games, and my blog is zamzamsays.com.
Cool. Miner, what's the best way? Twitter, probably?
I'm the SWTOR miner. Look it up.
Yeah. Use the Google. There you go.
You can find him in his Second Life shop.
Yep. It's not the miner you're looking for.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Chemayla at TORCommunity. Also, I'm GM of hailscrew.engine.com.
Cool. Snave, where can we find your grace?
I stream on Hitbox at hitbox.tv/Snave pretty much all the time. So that's the easiest way. Or you can find me on Twitter, which would be Snave1208.
Cool. And May, where can we get you if you do stick around for 4.0?
You can find me on Twitter at MaybeBuzz or on my blog, maybebuzzes.weebly.com.
Cool stuff. All right. Well, until next week, I think are we starting better than Cross Server up again, Snave? I think that's your.
Yeah, I
your
really want to. The problem that I have with it is I need a sniper really badly, and I don't have a sniper to do the class changes. But yeah, other than that, I will definitely be doing it very, very soon. It'll probably be next Wednesday, I guess.
Awesome. So we're going to try and keep this going on a regular schedule in these days now, probably bi-weekly. I know we had a bit of a hiatus because of the, no new content for a while, but we're back, guys, and look forward to next episodes. Yeah, toodles.
Take care,
Join
guys.
the dark side. We got puppies.
He certainly does.